until that day when all are one. Liberate the Minicons.
Hello everybody and welcome to the year 2003. Oh, wait, 2003? Sorry, I got confused because, as you all know, the Transformers Armada Dark Saber Sword is not new. So yeah, here I am for the Armada Dark Saber review. The Dark Saber Sword is essentially a repaint of the Star Saber Sword, which is composed of 3 Minicons that combine Jetstorm, Runwave, and Sonar. Now, the Star Saber Sword is one of the 3 main entities of power amongst Minicons that Unicron wishes to consume in order to take over the universe. There's the Star Saber, the Requiem Blaster, and the Sky Boom Shield. However, this is the Dark Saber, and I chose the Dark Saber because of under two conditions. One is that this was cheaper. It was only like 20 bucks, where Star Sabers can be up to like 50. And second, it's used by Armada Nemesis Prime. And of course, me and Wilku 9000 love Nemesis Prime, so I think the Dark Saber Sword is the best of all the weapons. Now, looking at the back, of course, we have their robot modes, their shuttle space modes, I guess. Let's see if I can get a better view. And of course, we have other advertisements: Storm Cloud, Waterlog, Ocean Glide, Scatter, Broadside Fetch, which actually appear to be, I thought they were different versions of the Requiem or Skyboom Shield. But here they are: Jetstorm, Runwave, and Sonar. I had these when I was a kid, and I've kind of regained them. It's the same thing. It's just that they're purple and gold instead of blue, and I believe gray. So they form a Cybertronian mode, a Cybertronian sword, and let's see. Combine Jetstorm, Runwave, and Sonar figures to create the Dark Saber Sword. Each Minicon figure can attach to a larger Transformer Armada figure, not included. Yeah, duh. So yeah, that's really all there is to the package, so I'm going to open these guys up and see what I have. Okay, everybody, just a heads up, I'm kind of confused on who's who. This is definitely Sonar, I know that. This is Runwave, and this is Jetstorm. So, the 3 little Minicons here, of course, form the Dark Saber, and the differences are slim, essentially. Really, the blue has been replaced by purple, and I think this one was gray in the original Star Saber, but here it's gold. So, each of these, each of these little Minicons are essentially tiny little flip formers. However, they do have a lot of parts that can fall off, and really, Sonar here is the best one of them all. He doesn't have any real robot parts visible, except if you look through that hole, you can see his robot head. But aside from that, nothing is really visible. But with Runwave and Jetstorm here, their undercarriage kibble is bad. It's not really bad, it's just, yeah, it has a lot of problems. You can obviously see it. But for a space shuttle, it's not that bad. I heard there was a Jetfire toy, according to RuneScape 22.8, and now my phone is going off anyway. Sorry guys, just had a friend of mine text me. So yeah, if he texts back, I'm just going to continue on with my work. So anyways, everybody, yeah, here is Runwave, Jetstorm, and Sonar, and now I am going to be transforming them. First, let's start with Sonar here. You just get the front portions forward. The front portion forward of the legs, that is. Then you move the feet in this direction. You flip the little peg. Yeah, the big peg that's used for yeah, I believe, yeah, of course, Runwave and Jetstorm. And then afterwards, you bring down his arms. And there we go. There is Sonar. A little bit crouched over, but I can fix that with his head. There he is. He balances fairly well. Now for, what is it? I believe it's Jetstorm. Yeah, there we go. Take his legs, pull him down. Also, fold this part up adds the nose, it adds to the backpack. Here it goes. Swivels down his arms. And then you pop open this part. You bring it down, which becomes his, let's see if I can find, there we go, his chest plate. You pop it back in, and there is Jetstorm. Whoa, and there is Sonar falling down. Let me get him back up. And finally, we have Runwave, who's a basic flip-former. In fact, they could have easily included the gimmick with a lot of, oh, I'm already done with him. They could have easily included the gimmick with, you know, like Beast Wars Rat Trap or Razor Beast, and he would have turned out even better than them. They're so simple. So there's the team, and I'm going to transform them back into their vehicle modes, and then afterwards, I am going to show you all the Dark Saber Sword. Now, well, actually, I better say something. Yeah, their robot modes are cool. They're inventive. They have the typical, you know, bottom sections become chest plate, except for Sonar here, but though Jetstorm's here is a little bit, juts out a little bit, but it is interesting to note that his nose can flip up, whereas Runwave's here cannot, which I think is kind of odd, but that's mostly because this is used for the transformation later. Their feet are pretty much the same, of course. Really, Sonar here sticks out like a sore thumb. He's one of the more unique ones, mostly because, you know, he's rearranged in a way where you don't have too much kibble at the end. Large shoulders, and he's the hilt, of course, so the hilt is going to differ from the blade. So overall, their robot modes are okay. They're a little bit hard to balance. Well, actually, no, Sonar's the one that's hard to balance. The other ones are easy. There we go. And I overall think that their robot modes, they're good. They're nothing too special. They have some flaws. They have some kibble, both vehicle and robot modes, but obviously that's not the reason to get these Minicons when they're in a 3-pack. The reason to get them is for the Star Saber Sword, which, if I can balance... Come on, join the party. It's fun. Stand up. Ugh. Whoops. Oh, God. Where'd you go? Okay, well, I think you get the idea. Okay, come on, let's crash out, and now let's transform them into their vehicle modes, and let's make the Dark Saber. Although it's weird to make although it sounds weird and complicated to make a sword out of a spy detecting Secret Service ship and also 2 shuttles, the transformation of these, actually, the way they come together and combine to form the Star Saber Sword is weird, but actually it's fairly simple. It's much more simple than you think. I mean, how do 3 shuttles just all of a sudden form a sword? Well, what you do is that you take the front sections again, but you don't fold out the feet this time. Let me see. There we go. There we go. Afterwards, you extend them like that, so that, you know, it's kind of like a little deformed Pac-Man. Then you take Jetstorm, fold his nose down. Then you just attach it to the peg there. The peg will lock in securely. Whoops. And then that's the second time Runwave will fall. Just having some bad luck with him, I guess. I'm a klutz. And then his 2 nose cones will peg into his pipe section. There we go. So then you'll extend it, and voila, you have the Dark Saber Sword. Now, really the result, a lot of people say it's mixed. Some people say it's just it's like a lazy gimmick to sell more toys, how they combine. But I actually like it. I don't really know how Cybertronian swords look like, aside from Armada Starscream's blade, but if this was an ancient, mythical Cybertronian weapon that could easily win a battle in 5 seconds, I actually would believe this is... I wouldn't immediately think of this, but it's kind of true. This is kind of true to the idea of an ancient Cybertronian piece of technology from ancient times. You know, you have the hilt, you have an over-the-top hilt, and you have 2 shells combining, and since it's Minicons, it actually makes more sense, and although it doesn't look like a sword, really, From far away, I imagine it more as, well, a saber really than rather a sword. It's an over-the-top blade. It's an over-the-top weapon. And for that, I accept it. And actually, I think it's pretty cool. Though I do wish that maybe one of the gimmicks that both this and the Star Saber Sword should have had was maybe Runwave, sorry, not Runwave, Sonar could have had like a light bulb in him, and then everything else was clear plastic. Everything was clear plastic, like what it's shown on the box. And then afterwards, when the light bulb was activated, it would be a bright light. It would be a very bright purple light or blue light for the Star Saber, and they would shine. They would shine so bright that you couldn't see the Transformers, the Minicons, and it would actually look like the Dark Saber Sword, which Nemesis Prime wielded. Which is actually, it could have been a good idea, but, you know, it's Minicons. I don't expect huge light bulbs or, you know, light fluctuating devices to be in little tiny pieces of plastic robots. But anyways, the one downside is that they can be kind of loose, mostly at the hilt. A lot of people, actually one of my friends, I think a lot of people say that they have trouble with Runwave and Jetstorm here, but not for me. It's only Sonar, and then again, that's if I'm not handling it with care. Also from the back, it doesn't really look that good. You know, it's kind of like the ending of the movie Ants, where where it's like tiny little beings are being stacked against one another. You can see their heads. But still, from the front view, I still think it's a cool little gimmick. It's not the best, and again, it can pop off at times, but when it's good, it's actually good. I do think that, again, with the entire Armada series, whoop, I forgot to pop this back down, that in keeping with true fashion with the Armada series, they were able to make something that seems so complicated, incredibly show accurate. Now let me see if I can pop it back in. There we go. And of course, with these pegs, you can put it in a select number of Transformers. Some would be, I believe, Starscream, Armada Optimus Prime, but here we will be using, you know it, Armada Galvatron. Galvatron, what do you have to say about getting the Dark Saber Sword? Would you like to thank the Academy?
The power is mine.
Huh. Very interesting, Galvatron. Well, as you can see here, let's see, above the torso, you have his fist with his hole in it. Little, thing. Then we're just gonna peg the Dark Saber Sword in there. And it fits well. It does fit. And lo and behold, you have Armada Galvatron with the Dark Saber Sword. So look at this guy with the accessories. He has the Dark Saber Sword, a dagger, his leader one, or in this case, clench, with 2 missile ports, and his, let's see, whoa, and his tank barrel. So a sword, a dagger, 2 missile launchers, and a tank barrel. What more could you ask for? Kids, I would recommend you stay away from this Galvatron. Well, everybody, that is my review for the Dark Saber Sword here. If you're an Armada fan, and if you just want a copy of the Star Saber, and this was a good deal on Amazon, it was only, the reason why I chose this over the, again, the Star Saber Sword was, again, this was wielded by Nemesis Prime. Really, this was a Nemesis Prime weapon exclusive. The Star Saber was not, and it was much cheaper. So for a price now of $20 or $30, and considering the fact that it is over, it's practically a decade old, well, it is a decade old, really, then I say I would get it for just $30. You know, if you're a fan of Armada, or if you just want to have a Cybertronian sword that looks good and you can peg, not only can you peg this into Armada figures, but I heard G1 Toys R Us reissues can also have these Minicon swords pegged into them, which is neat. So if you want a cool little sword and you just want to fork over, say, $20 or $30, this will do. If you're a fan of Armada, I do believe this is a must-have. If you're not getting the Skyboom Shield or the Requiem Blaster, at least get this or the Star Saber Sword. And if you just want to add more zing to some of your Armada figures, then also get the Dark Saber Sword. So really, I recommend it for a lot of Transformers fans. Overall grade, I would say a good A-. A little bit backwards because of the loose parts, the loose joints, and the kibble. But when it's good, it's really good. This is a great looking sword, or saber. So anyways, that's my review for the Dark Saber, and on to the next one.
Support Cybertron. Subscribe.